The studio lights dimmed softly, leaving only a warm glow surrounding the two figures seated across from each other. Cameras were off, crew members whispered in the distance, and the air was filled with a silence, so heavy it almost felt alive. Jungkook's fingers trembled slightly as he adjusted the silver ring on his right hand, the same one fans had noticed him wearing for months. His eyes darted toward Taehyung, who sat quietly, his gaze lowered, lips pressed into a faint line. They hadn't spoken much that day. What was meant to be a casual behind-the-scenes recording after their long break had turned into something else entirely, something raw, unscripted, and deeply emotional. "Hyung," Jungkook finally whispered, his voice fragile, barely audible. Taehyung lifted his eyes, meeting Jungkook's uncertain gaze. The younger one took a deep breath, his chest rising and falling as if fighting to control the storm inside him. "You know I'm not good with words," Jungkook began, his throat tightening, "but I can't keep pretending anymore." The room fell still. Even the faint hum of the air conditioner seemed to disappear. Taehyung blinked slowly, confused. "Pretending," he echoed, his voice gentle. Jungkook nodded, his jaw clenching. "Pretending like nothing ever happened. Pretending like the way I feel doesn't matter." Taehyung's eyes softened. But Jungkook shook his head. His voice began to tremble. "No, Jung. Please let me say this. Just once." Cameras started rolling again, though quietly, almost respectfully. This wasn't the kind of footage that would ever make it into an official broadcast. It was too personal, too real. Jungkook's voice broke as he continued. "I've been trying to hold it in for years. Every time we laugh, every time we sing together, I tell myself it's enough. But when you look at me the way you do, when you smile like that," he paused, his breath shaking. "It hurts, Taehyung." Taehyung's lips parted slightly, his eyes glistening. The weight of Jungkook's confession filled the air like electricity, fragile, powerful, and irreversible. "I don't know what this feeling means," Jungkook went on, his hands trembling visibly now. "All I know is you've always been the person who makes me want to be better. The one who makes me want to sing, to breathe, to live." There was a long pause, the kind of silence that could shatter hearts. Taehyung swallowed hard. His throat felt dry, his heart heavy. "Jungkook," he murmured, his voice unsteady. "Do you realize what you're saying?" Jungkook nodded, tears threatening to fall. "Ida. And I'm scared. But I had to tell you. Because pretending not to feel it, that's worse than anything." Taehyung's breath hitched. His chest ached, as if every word Jungkook said carved deeper into him. He leaned forward slowly, his voice trembling. "Why now?" Jungkook gave a faint, broken smile. "Because I couldn't hold it in anymore." The crew didn't move. Some had tears in their eyes. The cameraman lowered his lens, unsure whether to keep filming or give them privacy. For years, fans had speculated about the deep bond between Taehyung and Jungkook. They'd seen the glances, the laughter, the quiet comfort in each other's presence. But no one, not even the closest friends, could have imagined this moment. Jungkook's confession wasn't about drama or performance. It was real, raw emotion poured straight from his soul. Taehyung closed his eyes for a long moment, and when he opened them again, his expression was unreadable, torn between shock, affection, and heartbreak. "Jungkook," he whispered again, almost to himself. "You don't know what this means to me." Jungkook looked up, hope flickering faintly in his eyes. "Then tell me, Hyung. Please." Taehyung exhaled shakily, his hands curling into fists on his lap. I can't say it. Not yet." The words stung like a silent rejection. But beneath the pain, Jungkook saw something, fear, maybe. Or love that couldn't yet find its voice. The silence after Jungkook's confession felt endless. Taehyung sat there, frozen, eyes glistening under the dim studio light. His heart was pounding so loud, he swore the mic could pick it up. Jungkook's words replayed in his mind like an echo he couldn't silence. "You make me want to breathe, to live." For a long moment, Taehyung couldn't speak. Every instinct told him to say something comforting, to ease the tension. But another voice, deep inside, whispered that this was a truth he'd always known, just never dared to face. When he finally looked at Jungkook again, he saw not the golden magne everyone adored, not the stage performer, not the worldwide idol, but the boy who once shared midnight ramen with him in the dorm kitchen. The boy who laughed too loud. The boy who stayed up late writing songs about dreams and loneliness. And now, that same boy was sitting in front of him, trembling, waiting for his answer. Taehyung's lips parted, but no words came. "I don't want to hurt you," he finally said, voice breaking. Jungkook shook his head slowly. "You won't. You already know how I feel. I just needed you to hear it from me." The raw honesty in Jungkook's tone made Taehyung's chest tighten painfully. He could feel tears building, threatening to fall, but he blinked them back. "You're too brave," he whispered. "Too honest for this world." Outside the studio, the staff whispered anxiously. One of them mouthed, "Are we still recording this?" Another quietly replied, "Just keep it rolling. This is history." The tension inside the room had become something sacred, unplanned, unrehearsed, but profoundly human. Jungkook looked down at his hands, laughing softly through the heaviness. "I'm sorry if I made things weird." Taehyung reached out instinctively, his fingers brushing Jungkook's hand. "Don't ever apologize for being real," he said, his tone trembling. "You've always been real with me." Jungkook froze, feeling Taehyung's warmth. It was a small gesture, but it felt like an answer, not in words but in touch. And for a moment, both of them sat there in quiet understanding. It took less than 24 hours for whispers to spread online. A few crew members had leaked fragments, not video, but words, transcripts, descriptions of what had happened. No one knew the full story, but hashtags started trending instantly. Jungkook confession, Taehyung reaction, and, within hours, Taekook moment. Fans across the world were in disbelief. Wait, did Jungkook actually confess to Taehyung? If this is real, I'm not okay. This is the most emotional thing I've ever read. Their bond is something else. This is love, pure and unspoken. Armies from every corner of the world began rewatching old clips. Every side glance, every smile, every shared laugh, trying to connect dots. Clips from concerts resurfaced. The way Jungkook always looked for Taehyung before walking off stage. The way Taehyung's eyes softened when Jungkook laughed. News outlets picked it up too. Kpop world in shock as BTS's Jungkook confesses to Taehyung in emotional moment. One headline read, "Fans moved to tears after Jungkook's shaky-voiced confession," said another. HYBE remained silent, no statements, no denials, no confirmations. The silence only fueled the storm. Meanwhile, Jungkook and Taehyung stayed out of sight. No live streams, no appearances. Just quiet. Inside the dorm, the mood was different. Taehyung stood by the window, city lights reflecting in his eyes. Jungkook sat on the couch, quietly strumming a guitar, the same melody he'd been working on for weeks. "Hyung," Jungkook said softly without looking up. Taehyung turned toward him. "Do you regret it?" Jungkook asked. Taehyung paused, then crossed the room slowly.
"No," he said.
"But I'm scared." "Of what?" Taehyung sat beside him. "Of what this could mean. Of how the world will see us. Of losing what we already have." Jungkook's fingers stopped moving. He looked up at Taehyung, his eyes full of something tender, unguarded. "I don't care how the world sees us. I just want you to know how I see you." The air grew heavy again, intimate, warm, and dangerous. Taehyung exhaled shakily. "You always say things like that and make it impossible for me to breathe." Jungkook smiled faintly. "Then maybe we're both out of breath for the same reason." For the first time, Taehyung didn't look away. Their eyes locked, not as idols under the spotlight, but as two souls who finally stopped pretending. And somewhere, far away, millions of fans refreshed their feeds, not knowing that in this quiet, private moment, the story that had started as a breaking news headline was becoming something far more real. It had been 3 sleepless nights since Jungkook's confession. The world outside had gone wild. Hashtags still trending, theories growing darker by the hour. Yet, inside their shared silence, time stood